How you doing? It's your girl Emma D here, thinking thoughts about things as always. And today we are thinking thoughts about a topic coming to us from my very own home state of Oregon. Measure 114 out of Oregon has been getting a lot of news coverage. For those that don't know, Measure 114 addresses pew pews, because I don't know what I can say on the YouTube. So, today was an interesting day. There was a court case that was put up in opposition of Measure 114 going through. So, I will link this in the description. Coming to us from the Oregonian, we were given some updates today on Measure 114. As of the most recent updates I have, the Oregonian says that a federal judge Friday heard sharply contrasting arguments about whether gun control Measure 114 regulations are constitutional in what she describes as a very complicated case amid a new legal landscape. After a 2-hour hearing, U.S. District Judge Karen J. Emergut said she'll issue a written ruling early next week on whether to grant a temporary restraining order or allow the measure to take effect as scheduled next Tuesday. So we will be awaiting her ruling to see what's going to happen with this. So let's keep reading a little more. So if the measure is allowed to become state law, Oregon's Senior Assistant Attorney General Brian Simmons Marshall told the judge Oregonians will be able to apply for a permit to purchase a gun on December 8th. The voter-approved measure, which narrowly passed with a 50.7% of the vote, will ban the sale, transfer, and manufacturing of magazines that hold more than 10 rounds, require a permit to purchase a gun, and ban gun sales or transfers without a complete background check. So I'm not here to give an opinion about guns per se. What I am here to talk about is just some running themes going on at this point. So, as stated in this article, Measure 114 passed with a 50.7% of the vote. 49.3% of people opposed this legislation. Those are really narrow margins. That says a lot for what's going on here. But outside of having an opinion on citizens' ability to arm themselves, on the rights of the American people to maintain a well-regulated militia, in spite of all of those things, what I will say is that this is very interesting in that it, once again, it will ban the sale, transfer, and manufacturing of magazines that hold more than 10 round mags. Requires a permit to purchase a gun and bans gun sales or transfers without a complete background check. Okay. So, pew-pews that hold more than 10 rounds have been commonly owned here in this state and in many states for quite some time. And this legislation doesn't at all speak to a grandfathering of any kind, which is particularly scary for individuals that, law-abiding individuals, right, that have legally owned and procured things over time that are theirs, their property. So now we're getting into a really interesting conversation, right, with the constitutionality and ownership and lots of things. So I neither confirm nor deny owning any said things that hold any capacity of any kind of magazine, of any, what are you talking about? But your girl does like to think thoughts about things. And one of the things that this whole ordeal brings up specifically to me is constitutionality. And the need of patriots to be law-abiding citizens. Because this brings up an interesting concept in what it is to be law-abiding, right? I personally know many, many people who take great pride in abiding by the laws of the land and consider themselves great, ardent patriots. That's something that is integral to their personalities, right? That they hold themselves to be, upstanding members of the community that have always done good things. These very people are the exact same ones that are saying things to me like, you can't have my XYZ. You won't get it. Your laws be damned. This is what scares me. I want to know what becomes of this country when we push the citizens to a point in which being a law-abiding individual no longer holds the merit that it once did. And what I mean by that is this. Individuals that once found a great deal of pride in being law-abiding are now severely questioning what it means to abide by the laws that they don't agree with, and being told that, if you own a thing that is now quote-unquote illegal with no grandfathering rights, you're now no longer law-abiding. So you have to question, what is the legality? What is the constitutionality? What does it mean to abide by a law? But even greater than that, what I want to think about is the psyche here. You've taken individuals who wanted to play by the rules, who have taken great personal strife in maintaining playing by the rules for a very long time. And they are now being pushed to a point where internally they are struggling with no longer caring. No longer caring about abiding by laws that they do not feel serves their needs. So, what happens to a country when the individuals who found themselves most ingrained in standing on the rights and principles of the land that they hold so dear no longer are willing to stand for those same principles and turn on that perspective and go from everything I own is legal and licensed and in my name and warranted and backgrounded and lottie-dottie to I don't care anymore. It is what it is, and I'm going to own what I own. And this is how you turn a law-abiding nation into criminals. You just told people that by virtue of owning a thing that they own, they may or may not now be it's a Class A misdemeanor if you own a magazine that holds more than 10 round capacity. There's a lot of individuals that are now no longer law-abiding and that I don't think are really willing to give up their firepower at this point. So I'm getting a little concerned. I await what happens next week with this decision. Hopefully this judge sees what kind of issue this imposes, because, not only are there the issues with the individual perspective and what it means to the people of Oregon, there is also the problem that this was not a well-funded measure, and by well-funded, it wasn't funded at all. It puts the onus on individual sheriffs that are already underfunded and undercapable of dealing with the crime in their own jurisdictions, let alone trying to institute independent backgrounding protocols in order to meet these ridiculous measures that had absolutely no forethought whatsoever. So, regardless of however this pans out, I think it's going to be a huge issue, but I am interested to see what the judges want to do. Not that I care at this point, because I don't think constitutionality matters at all to any of those that are held to upstand and uphold the law of our lands, but I am intrigued to see how this plays out for what the repercussions are going to be of individuals that are or are not willing to perhaps surrender items that will now, be possibly deemed illegal to possess. So that's fun. I don't know. Just thinking thoughts about what the repercussions of this are going to mean long term for the state, the country, the county, all the things. So I will be watching. I'll see what happens in the next run, and don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the little bell so you get an update. We'll be following along, and I will let you know how this pans out. So thinking good thoughts, sending love. Hope you're all doing well, and have a great day. Talk to you later. Emma D out.